Today, we're diving into something really powerful, a kind of guide to radical freedom centered around the three emissaries of the Sephirah, Chesed. Now, in Kabbalah, Chesed is all about expansive grace and loving kindness. And as we're about to see, its emissaries are basically a team designed to help you shatter stagnation for good. You know the feeling, right? Life is fine. It's comfortable, it's safe. Maybe you're even successful by all the usual standards. But deep down, there's this little voice whispering that you're trapped, that your cozy life has become this beautiful but very, very real prison. Well, that prison has a name: stagnation. And it is the #1 enemy of our own evolution. It's that comfort zone where everything feels familiar, everything's predictable, and because of that, all the real, meaningful growth just stops dead in its tracks. So the big question is, how in the world do you break out? Well, according to the material we're looking at, the answer lies right inside the Sephirah Chesed. Its emissaries aren't just guides, they're more like architects of liberation, and their entire purpose is to shatter the walls of that comfortable prison you're in. So just to get our bearings, you can see Chesed's place here on the Tree of Life. And get this, its emissaries have an incredible title. They're called the Portals and Guides to Other Worlds. Their mission isn't just to give you a little pep talk, it's to create a space of total unfixing, a complete and total release from everything that's holding you down. All right, so here's the team that's going to make it happen. You can think of this as your quick reference guide. We've got Habiav, who's all about unfixing. Then there's Suged, the dissolving. And finally, Daneb, the expelling. Each one has a totally unique job, a unique archetype, and a really specific way of working. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, now let's pop the hood and see how these guides work together as a kind of practical user's manual for getting free, starting with the very first one. First up to bat is Habiav. His whole deal is the unfixing, and his job is basically to kickstart this entire process. And he doesn't just nudge you, oh no, he tears your consciousness away from those shackles of stagnation. He's the guide that's willing to take you right into the unknown. So you're probably wondering, how does he actually do that? Well, his archetype is the vector of sovereign will, and his method is to become what's called a gravitational anomaly. It's like he creates this little bubble in reality where all the normal rules that keep you stuck, they just don't apply anymore. When Habiov's energy is at play, it feels like pure weightlessness. He gives you this power of mental levitation, which lets you just float above the confusing maze of your problems. And all of a sudden, those super heavy anchors, your past, your status, your fears, they become totally irrelevant. Now, once you're floating, the next agent, Suged, the dissolving, comes on the scene. His job is a lot more surgical. He's here to sever all those toxic attachments and unhealthy ties, whether it's to people, to old ideas, or to situations that are keeping you stuck, even after you've started to rise up. I mean, look at his archetype, the Supreme Liberator. His method is even more intense. It's the annulment of gravitational support. Think of him as a karmic auditor. He comes in and dissolves the false ground right from under your feet, which forces you to see what you're actually standing on. The effect of this in your life is, well, a total revision. Sugar's audit makes it absolutely impossible to keep lying to yourself. He just explodes those fake comfort zones and basically forces you to finally terminate all those dead contracts you've been clinging to from your past. It's tough, for sure, but it's so necessary. And that brings us to the final emissary, the closer, Daneb, the expelling. So if Habiav lifts you up and Suged cuts the ties, Daneb is the one who gives you that final push out of the nest. His whole job is to pull you out from the deepest, most stubborn corners of your comfort zone. I mean, his titles really say it all, don't they? His archetype is the radical separator, and his method is the quantum catapult. Yeah, there is nothing subtle about Daneb. This is all about a final, explosive, and completely non-negotiable break into a whole new way of being. This is all about expulsion. Daneb provides that final defibrillator shock to your system. It's like clear, an explosive ejection that literally launches your liberated spirit out of the old way of thinking and into a new, higher reality. So, we've met the individual players, but their real power, the true magic, lies in how they work together. They create this beautiful sequence that the source material calls a cascade of freedom. It's a really clear, really powerful 3-step process. First, Hebiaf makes you weightless, creating that zero density. Then Suga comes in to audit that new state and snip all those final toxic cords. And finally, Danup hits the launch button. You see? Each step perfectly sets up the next one. And here you can really see their synergy. Habyov handles the navigation, Shugad takes care of the evacuation, and Danup delivers that radical breakthrough. The whole system they create is designed for one single outcome, a state where all fixation is totally rejected, and your freedom is absolute. So, after all of that, what's the big takeaway? What's the ultimate point of this intense, three-stage liberation process? I absolutely love this quote. It frames what they do not as some, abstract spiritual exercise, but as a critical, life-saving intervention. They are the salvage defibrillator of evolution, shocking a system back to life when it has flatlined into stagnation. But this right here, might just be the most powerful idea of all. Their ultimate job is to take the very things that weigh us down, our fears, our anxieties, our past, and transform all that heavy mass into pure fuel for flight. Your fear isn't the obstacle, it's actually the power source. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. This whole system isn't just a concept to learn about, it's really a question being asked directly to you. If you truly knew, without a single doubt, that you were capable of flight, what's the first anchor you'd be willing to release?